Hey, what's going on, folks? It's Mike here, and welcome to the Deep Programming Language series. In this lesson, we're going to continue talking about conversions, that is, converting one type to another. And I want to go ahead and continue with where we left off in a previous video. So go ahead and check out that previous video on cast in the playlist if you haven't seen it. But now we're going to actually look at where I left you off with the to function here. All right, so anyways, what I'm going to do just is a little bit of a recap to show you where I left you. Hanging here was with this line here where I wanted to concatenate some string and then try to perform a string cast, and this didn't quite work. So what we're actually going to need is something from the standard conversion library, and then we can use to and then the templates, which we haven't really looked at yet in this series, but do a conversion to a string. So let's go ahead and look at that, and then we'll go ahead and fix that code and use to. So where I'm going to go ahead and start is from the library reference, and I'm going to go ahead and search here just a little bit here through the standard library. And let's just go ahead and do standard.conv for conversion. And this has to do with various type manipulations. So converting one type to another, or in other words, doing casting. So the basic idea is, with the functions that you're going to find here, is that this library provides, as noted, the one-stop shop for converting one value to another type here. Now I'm going to be focusing on to here and castFrom to show you two different tools that could be quite nice for you to use. So let's just go ahead and look at to here first and foremost. And this is a templated function here where we're going to convert from one type to another. The source type, again, is going to be deduced, and then the target type we have to specify. So for example, as shown here, we're going to convert whatever this type is here, 42.0, which will be deduced, to an integer. And that's what we're explicitly casting to. And the deep programming language will do some things for us, for example, like throwing an exception if you try to convert some type, for instance, to something where there wouldn't be enough storage. So for example, an integer, if you try to cast it to some really big value, again, that might not work. Or I should rather say converting, this really big value to an integer where it only has 4 bytes of storage, for instance. So that's a little case that you can catch here, and an exception could be thrown. So just keep that in mind. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at using the to operator here. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this example here, just to give us a fresh start. And then we'll use this standard conversion library here. So let's just go ahead and keep everything there on one screen. And let's bring in our documentation. And what we're going to go ahead and do in this particular example, let's get everything to fit in here nicely on one line so you can see, is I'm going to, and I can do this again with the import within the scope here, standard conversion. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is say to the bang or the exclamation is for the type here. And then I want to convert this particular value here to a string. Okay, and some value itself is an integer. Now you might have noticed you can put this in parentheses if you'd like. Let's go ahead and run it just to show you two different ways. And this, in fact, works here, okay? If you only have one argument, usually the parentheses will be omitted, so you'll see that in the decode. But again, this achieves our conversion, and now we can treat 77 here as a string, and it is just concatenated here to this string. In fact, let's explicitly concatenate it with the concatenate operator, just so that you can see that it's working there just as well here. Now, this is pretty powerful, this tool here, and we can even do things like converting full arrays, for instance, from one type to another. And I think there's some examples here. I'll go ahead and paste one in just so you can see here. Again, you can see all the different conversion types. Again, a great deal of work has been done here. But this works with even if you have a type that is a, say, associative array here that consists of a key of a string and then a double filled with integers here. This still works on arrays, associative arrays, any sort of type here, which is pretty neat. So let's just go ahead and do a little example here. Let's go ahead and create an array of values here. I'll go ahead and let's go ahead and add something here, like the value 5. Maybe we want to start with 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll perform some operations. And then let's go ahead and create a doubles array, and we want to go ahead and convert this to a double type here.
And this is going to be an array. And let's go ahead and take in that values, and let's go ahead and see if this works here. Oops, now I got to actually this time be a little bit more explicit with my parentheses here. So let's go ahead and wrap the type up here, and then I can give this a run here, and then let's just go ahead and practice our for each value in doubles. Let's just go ahead and write out the value, or let me just call this element here. Element, and you can also write out the type ID of the element, and let's in fact see that we are treating those as doubles here. And it looks like I am again just missing a parentheses. Let's go ahead and pop that in there. There we are. And we can see again this is taking the whole array and treating as double, double, double. So that conversion, again, this gave us a double array here, which is really nice. Okay, so again, this is your sort of one-stop shop here that you can use here. Now, typically I use this again when you're working with some type like strings, and again, you just want to be very explicit what you want the type to be cast to, and especially if you have something like an array or something a little bit more complicated like shown here that you might need to use. That's where you might use the to operator versus the cast. Now I want to go ahead and show you some other tools that you have here in this conversion library that are quite neat and useful. And in particular, I'm going to go ahead and show you castFrom here. And this particular templated function here is pretty useful. I mean, it's a wrapper on top of the built-in cast operator that allows one to restrict casting of the original type of the value. And it gives you a little bit of documentation here saying a common issue with using a raw cast is that it may silently continue to compile even if the value's type has changed during refactoring, which breaks the initial assumption about the cast. So there's a nice example here, which we'll recreate just to show you how this works. If I have this long X and then I use auto, which again is going to deduce the type here, and then I do a cast here. Well, again, auto is a pretty smart tool. It's a great tool that's part of the language here. But if I somewhere else in my code, imagine after a long refactoring, change the type here of my value X, and then I'm again casting this, well, Y itself is going to cast itself to, well, let's see here. Let's see what this works. This is still going to compile even though X has changed here. And maybe we haven't intended this actual side effect here. Okay, so let's go ahead and just recreate this experiment here. I'll paste in the code. And let's actually just write out the value of Y here. Let's see if we get anything meaningful. We get the value 0 here. I mean, this is essentially an uninitialized pointer, which again, everything in D by default gets initialized to something. So it's just initialized here to be null, for instance. And then we can just, you know, this cast works in this particular case, but this might not be what we intended. Because again, if we write out the type of Y here in this example, and again, I love using type ID to, you know, show these things as you learned in this series here. Again, we can see that, yeah, it in fact casted this, you know, pointer successfully here, when that might not have been our intent. So the safer thing to do is to use this castFrom here, which tells you that you want to cast from one type to another. Okay, so let's go ahead and demonstrate this. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. And let's assume that, again, the original intent here was, instead of using cast here, we can improve on this and use castFrom, and we want to cast from the long to an int, and let's go ahead and give that a run here, and we can see that our type of Y, this is the last thing that I'm printing out here from the type ID, and let's just make this a little bit more clear in case I'm moving too fast, but Y's type, okay, is integer here. Okay, so it has done this successful cast here, and explicitly it's done it from the long type here. Now again, you can imagine we go through software, we do some refactoring, and just to make the point sort of clear here for why this is a useful tool,
I mean, our code is separated by, you know, a bunch of space here, right? In a project where you might not have the variables initialized, but someone says, yeah, actually we want this to be, you know, some other type. We change the collection. So whether that's a simple change, like making something a pointer, which again, that might be kind of a strange thing to do, but maybe you change the type of an array, or some new type just gets deduced from something else. Again, these things can sometimes be tricky to find here. So now if I try to run this here, I am going to get an error and a static assert saying that the value that's cast is not the specified type. So this is probably the best thing that you can do in your code. This is probably the best type of cast, just to be super explicit where you can, if you know that you're, you know, wanting to treat some set of bytes as some other set of bytes here. So we need to come fix this. If this was the intent here, I'm going to wrap this with parentheses just to be explicit here. And now we can actually do that type here and say, yeah, actually we did want to treat this pointer as an integer for some reason, right? Maybe we're writing out or serializing this data or something. So that's the castFrom operator. Okay, so you get the idea here. And just to, again, summarize, use castFrom to be very explicit. You might not be able to use this when you're using, for instance, generic code and these types of things where you might not know the type. But in instances where you do know the type, again, and you do want to make an explicit cast, this is probably one of the best things that you can do. Okay, so with that said, let me go ahead and put all the code here and we'll wrap up these lessons on casting. So we learned about this super useful library here for doing conversions, which we have set up here, and we can convert things, again, explicitly to some particular type. It will throw exceptions if you do some sort of unsafe cast, meaning trying to cast a really big value into a small amount of storage. And then for those situations where we might be doing refactorings or we very explicitly want to treat data in some way, castFrom is super useful. So there you have it, folks. That will wrap up casting for now. If you have any questions, let me know. Feel free to follow along and sign up if you want to keep track of your progress as you're watching these lessons. And as always, thank you for your support. Feel free to engage in the discussions below if you have any questions. And with that said, folks, thanks for your time and attention. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.